I think we often guilty in businesses to like, look, we want to understand around data, want to leverage around data, obviously, but it's important to take the longer view and understanding the overall category. So that's an advice that I always give. That's something I always do. I always come up with a full funnel view. So it's not about performance versus brand, or like it's about like how the entire funnel works together.
What happens when a spa marketplace decides to make luxury truly accessible and ends up rewriting the playbook for growth? That's exactly what Marc-André Hade, Chief Commercial and Marketing Officer at SpaBreaks.com, has done. In this episode, we break down their blueprint for democratizing a category, mastering marketplace fundamentals, and thinking beyond channels to a full funnel mindset, all while preparing for the AI-driven future of search. Let's jump in. Welcome to another episode of the e-commerce toolbox expert's perspective. Joining us today, we have Marc-André Hade, all over from the UK. So we're really excited to have you on the show today. Welcome, Marc-André.
Oh, thanks for inviting me. Very happy to be here.
Awesome. And yeah, obviously doing some research ahead of time. Looks like you started your career really close to where we are. We're in Ottawa, Canada. Looks like you started your career over in Montreal. Did some stints with some Canadian companies before jumping over to the UK. But maybe I'd love to hear in your own words, how did you end up as the Chief Commercial and Marketing Officer at SpaBreaks, which is one of the leading UK success stories right now for B2C growth? So maybe talk to us a bit about your career journey and how you ended up there.
Yeah, so Chief Commercial and Marketing Officer at SpaBreaks.com. Been here for like over a year. Prior to that, 3 years at TheFork, TripAdvisor business. Before that, 9 years at two different divisions of eBay. So 3 years at StubHub in London and 6 years at eBay Classifieds Kijiji in Toronto. And before that, you mentioned it, right? I'm from Montreal. Spent a few years at the National Bank of Canada.
Very cool. That's where I got my first bank account. So that's very nostalgic. So yeah, I mean, obviously you've led marketplace strategy across a bunch of different companies, and now it's SpaBreaks. Maybe talk to us a bit about, obviously SpaBreaks is well known for going from a very call center driven business to more of like a digital first tech enabled marketplace in a sense. So yeah, talk to us a bit about that transition and how you're applying some of your learnings from your previous companies into SpaBreaks.
Yeah, quite frankly, like I joined the business and the transition was already like happening, right? It's like I joined like about 80% of the business was online. Nowadays, it's like 90% plus. So I was there to really help like accelerate it, like in the final stage of it. So it is a digital marketplace. It's there. In terms of like marketplace strategy, like, yes, you mentioned, like I spent my career pretty much all my career in business with this model. I would say it's the base, like the fundamentals are the same. It's about balancing like supply and demand. It's about coming like disciplined growth, like really keeping a close eye on the unit economics, like the one I really like look at closely is lifetime value CAC ratio. And then for me, my core approach, I would say, is like when I come in a new job, and that's why I did that when I joined SpaBreaks, really understanding the overall category. I think we often guilty in businesses to like, look, we want to understand around data, want to leverage around data, obviously, but a business like SpaBreaks, despite being the leader, we have like less than 10% market share of the overall category. So it's important to take the longer view and understanding the overall category. So that's an advice I always give. That's something I always do. I always come up with a full funnel view. So it's not about performance versus brand, or like it's about like how the entire funnel works together. I always look at the conversion rate, how well the site is converting. So it's the leaky bucket. So at the beginning, like again, before investing, especially in the upper funnel, you want to make sure that your site doing a good job at converting. To my entire career, brand building has been key. For me, I call it brand as a growth multiplier. In terms of like, it's key to grow the category. You can't do this through performance. You need to do brand to do it. You need to look at it from like creating demand, and then you capture it like either through direct or either through like a performance marketing. In terms of like how also it helps like the performance of the low funnel, like we see it directly at SpaBreaks, and we do like a campaign upper funnel, like we see like our ROAS increasing lower funnel. And also it helps like really for us also command higher margins.
Yeah, very cool. And obviously SpaBreaks is one of the European success stories, and you mentioned the category leader. Can you describe very simply what is the value prop for customers and partners? Like what kind of, if you zoom out, like what problem is being solved by this platform?
Look, if you look at it on the consumer side, the value proposition for me is like it's really a high level, three main pillars. Like first, it's about discovery. So we have more than 500 spas working with us. We make it simple to browse every type of spas, from like destination spas to like leisure spa, 4-star, 5 stars hotel, name it. So we have them all on the site. It's about convenience. Like again, it's a one-stop shop to like do all your search, like comparison of prices and so on. Our booking journey is very straightforward, very simple. It's not always the case, like if you go like spa by spa. And it's the third pillar is really value, and value means you come on the site, you're gonna be sure to get the best deal. Like we have always a good percentage of our supply that will offer some sort of discount. It could be like also like added value, and we have a loyalty program, SpaBreaks rewards that encourage loyalty. So that's on the user side. On the spa side, like the core aspect is we're there with business partners. We're there to drive incremental users that generate incremental revenues for spas. That's what we do. Then we're there to like the other aspect is like we're there to optimize yield management, especially around like dynamic pricing in terms of like the right moment to activate discount too. And we've been pioneer in the industry to really digitalize the category. So that's how we'll sum up our value prop.
So, I mean, I spent a lot of time in the startup scene. I'm very much still in the startup scene. And for a while in 2015, 16, 17, the Airbnb of X was what everyone was trying to do, right? Everyone was trying to build a marketplace for every single category. I'm just genuinely curious, like, why do you think this category really needed that double-sided marketplace? Like why has this one been successful, you think? Do you think it's for the reasons that you just flagged, where it's like you simplified the buying journey for the customers, like people actually are aggregate, like why this one, I guess, is a question I have, in your opinion?
Yeah, but I think every category has this. I think a lot of category benefits from having a marketplace, right? Like it's as long as like, you're relevant, as long as you're driving values for the users and values for the on the supply side as well. And yeah, I think it's like on the consumer, I mentioned it. It's a lot about simplifying like discovery. It's a lot. Yes, the booking flow is quite simple. Like it's quite straightforward, which was not always the case. I mentioned it, right? It was a category that was still quite led by like phone driven. Like it would like now it's like we're helping to like move this more toward the web. So
In my research ahead of time, I was seeing that obviously the growth has been pretty crazy in the last 12 to 18 months. What do you think the biggest unlock was, in your opinion, for that growth? Like what is fueling that?
yeah, it's what's that? Like I don't have one single silver bullet to like it's really the approach. I would say I say it's common in it's my I guess it's my marketplace playbook, right? It's about having like the right supply. So it all starts with supply. So I would have been lucky when I joined the business. We had the right level of penetration. We had the right level of quantity. Like so you want to look at penetration in terms of quantity and quality. We had this. What I had to do there is like really to maximize the availability. So I always talk to the team when it comes to supply and like it's availability. It's like the right level of offers. And for us, it's having the right packages. Then optimization of supply, first thing. The second thing is really like how we align marketing and commercial. And this is where like I'm very excited about my scope, because I got all the lever of growth under my scope basically. And one thing we did is we created this, like I said created, they already did it, but a smaller scale. So we call it venue funded sale. So when we do this, we have 3 times a year a big marketing campaign where we invest in the upper funnel. But at the same time, we have our supply. On the supply side, there will be like 25 to 35% of our supply will offer some sort of discount or a value added. So like it does help, like we build the brand, we build the category, but we also have a strong direct response components to help maximize the short-term ROI. So there I've been able to align both teams there and to move forward with this. We accelerated the upper funnel investment as well. 2025 we more than double versus 2024. This is key. There's so much demand out there that you can capture. You need to like generate it. A lot of work. When I joined the team, did a good job at really increasing the conversion rate, but there was still a lot of room to grow. So we've like done a lot of work on the website. Like conversion rate is more than like up than 35% year over year as we speak. Also a lot of effort in sort of connectivity in terms of API integration with like spa reservation systems, like channel manager to help like full like the end-to-end connection. And the team, like I narrated, like came here, like great team passionate, team like very knowledgeable, but then also able to like go hire some key people externally, promoting the right people internally as well. So not one thing to unlock, but the discipline across the different function and alignment of the team toward the same goal. So one vision, shared priorities, shared KPIs. That's how you drive a team. That's how you accelerate growth.
If you're listening to the e-commerce toolbox, you're entitled to a podcast exclusive website audit. Go to noibu.com/podcast-audit for a free scan that uncovers the hidden friction blocking your conversions and shows you where you're leaking revenue.
No, I love to hear that. And I earlier you mentioned that you're really in the details on the numbers, CAC to LTV. I have a friend of mine who runs a marketplace business, and him and I were chatting, and one of his biggest challenges is so the CAC to LTV, it works out if people come back, right? So if they come, you acquire them, they book once, and then they book again, whatever the cadence is, right? A challenge that he was having, and I'm curious to understand how you guys have potentially addressed this, or if this is a challenge, is you acquire the customer, so you pay the CAC, they use the service, maybe it's a promotion, but then the next time they go, they actually just book directly with, they effectively don't use your service. In this case here, they would book directly with the spa. I'm curious, like, do you guys have a strategy against defending that, or how do you ensure that that doesn't take place?
Yeah, so first we make sure that we're profitable on the first acquisition. So that's key, especially in the low frequency category, right? Then it goes back. If I go to my value proposition, my third pillar, value. Well, there's like we did launch last year like a reward program, a loyalty program, SpaBreaks rewards, and then. Yes, it can happen. Some like users will go back direct, but if you go on the site, you had a great first experience in terms of you discover the spa you need, the experience felt right. We provide a lot of information about a spa, like in terms of like the description of them, like our user reviews, and so that's where like if you offer all this, people will come back, and we're seeing great traction in terms of like the increase of our repeat rate year over year.
Makes sense. What about you'd mentioned that you put a loyalty program in place. Is that correct? Did that help at all, or was that kind of a different motion that you're thinking of there?
No, it does help. Like, yeah. So like the key for us, like, and it's like this, like as in many marketplaces, like it's the first to second booking that you want to drive. The program is geared that way that we want like. You can apply already like a pretty good cash. You can have a pretty good discount on the second booking. It's 7% cashback. It's a cashback program. So it's the key is to hook the user on the second booking, and then you see the retention accelerating.
Very cool. I didn't know that. That makes a lot of sense, though. I mean, you just mentioned it a second ago. Obviously, I mean, actually, I have some friends who go to the spa weekly, but I think most people don't. So you mentioned spa bookings is it's not obviously a weekly habit. How do you think about staying top of mind in this category and maybe even influencing like the creation of demand here versus just like the capturing? If in your own words, it's more of an infrequent market.
Yeah. So look, the typical playbook is like you need to be always on. Like, and when I look at what I'm always on, there's obviously performance marketing. You're capturing the demand that already exists. You do it in a way that is efficient, in a way that is just profitable. Where we're working right now is scaling also our mid-funnel, I call it, like always on, where we're leveraging our first-party data plus the website non-converters, and then we're like putting a lot of efforts on YouTube right now. We also like next is Meta, and then we have is the upper funnel. In the great world, will be almost always on the upper funnel as well. The reality is that we don't necessarily have the budget, not yet at least, to get there. And then it's like, yes, you need to be just like at the moment, so low frequency category, but at the moment people think about booking a spa, you want to be in the consideration set, right? That's on the acquisition. Then like you want to make sure that you have the right life cycle marketing. This is where like the right email program, right, the right incentive or loyalty program, and so on. It's a good point that you mentioned in terms of like building the category. Like we put a lot of effort to democratize like the category to make it like really accessible. And it comes with the perception that it's often like a luxury product and it's like very expensive. It's true that you can go to destination spa. It ain't cheap, but you can also we have a lot on the site of like we just sent an email yesterday about like spas under like 100 quid. And so this is like educating the users as like, yeah, you can do a spa days under 100 pounds. Like, so it's that's the effort that we're doing in terms of our communication.
And you mentioned this here as well, just a moment ago, but investing in the supply side, like when you think about it, and I know that through my one of my friends who's running a marketplace business, one of the challenges he had was he wasn't driving enough value for the actual partners, right? Like the actual supply side. How do you think about, obviously you describe yourselves as not only a booking engine, but like you're like a marketing / distribution channel for your partners. How are you investing in supply side? Like, is it tooling? Is it insights? Like, what do you feed back to your supply side that makes them start to either be dependent on you outside of the revenue itself?
So, the main thing is the revenue, right? It's like it is what it is. Like we drive incremental business. I always say, unless a spa is full 7/7, like 365 days a year, then like it's better to work with us than to have empty space at the spa or MTC, whatever the term you want to use here. But so it's first and foremost, it is about driving incremental users. It's about driving incremental revenues. Then it's about like the way how we invest in building the category. So marketing investment, we're not just there capturing market share. We're there to promote the category as a whole. We're a thought leader in the UK when it comes to wellness and spa. So like we're growing the share, the pie, the overall pie for everyone. So that's one point. We also digitalize. It's like the investment we do to digitalize the category, how we integrate with different spa reservation system, channel manager, and so on to streamline the operations. And quite frankly, 2025, we invested a lot in our website. Like it's progressively being rolled out. By the end of the year, it will be completed. 2026 is the year where we're starting to think more about tooling for the spas.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, I read the company's ethos and just in my research, and you just mentioned this around creating packages for like 300 quid, a spa break for everybody, feels very value led. Yeah, like how do you make sure outside of the specific campaigns that you guys are democratizing, I guess, spas for people, right? You mentioned that it could be perceived as a very luxury experience that not everyone could afford. Like above and beyond what you already mentioned, like how are you guys?
Think about it different ways. So I think it's like there's a pricing element, right? We have package, like more entry level package, like more accessible package, to like very expensive ones. So you can find whatever you need. A lot about it was, it's about showcasing. We did a lot of body positive encouragement, like so that. So that's one part. I'm thinking about the programs that are the safe ends for users with cancer. There was a stigma like in spa, like therapists didn't want to like treat like patients with cancer. Like so, we did a lot of education around this. We did education around how spa is beneficial for women like going through menopause and so on. So like it's multiple angle. And then obviously it's in terms of communication, but it's also on the site. It's how it translates in terms of a very inclusive tone on the entire site, how you can filter through all these categories. So if you have, you will mention if a spa is safe hands for cancer, for example, and so on.
Very, very cool. And one of my favorite topics, and this is something that we heavily debate on our leadership side, is balancing performance marketing and brand, right? You always kind of flip flop where, okay, everyone agrees brand's important, but then when you start looking at your channels that may be less performing because they're effectively kind of more so on the brand side, people are like, oh, should we maybe cut that? And and put that money back into performance. So obviously you lead commercial, you lead marketing. Yeah, like how are you thinking about balancing performance and brand? This is, I mean, I don't think there's a silver bullet answer for this, but yeah, how are you thinking about this? Because it's something that candidly we even struggle to, and a lot of the guests I talk to like don't really fully understand how to articulate it.
Yeah, I think, well, you need the right foundation in place. So you need to like, in terms of like, are you tracking the right KPIs? You have the right reports and so on. You need to stop like necessarily just looking at performance per channel, but you need to talk about what is your blended CAC. You need to make sure that you have the methodology in place to track lifetime value. That becomes interesting because my experience, what I've seen is like the lifetime value, the repeat rate of a users coming from like organic channels I've always seen it being significantly higher than the user coming from AdWords, for example. A lot of users of AdWords, my opinion, they don't even know they're clicking on your brand, right? It's just like, oh, you're the first result, they click, and then like, they're like, some of them I realize they booked through you. So look, the way I think about it is like, I think about it as a one funnel, where it all works together. Like usually the way I would approach it, you start by performance. You need to be able to, like at the beginning, to capture like demand in an efficient way. Like the problem is like you reach a point that you're facing diminishing return, like your cost per click might rise, like it's like competition is quite heavy. Like it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with the paradigm shift in SEO now, where like new brands will pump even more money in AdWords. But you start by performance, and then progressively you need to find a way to like bring brand in the mix. You need to be able to like demonstrate to like the finance team the ROI. So you need to speak the same language in your finance team. That's more important. Like, so marketer can just talk to marketers. Like at the end, the gold standard when it comes to like reporting is the finance team. So you need to speak their language. You need to educate them as well. But yeah, like you see it working together, but it's a journey, and it has to be done in a progressive way.
Love it. And as we look to wrap up, what are some of the top macro trends that are top of mind for you, whether in your category or just in e-com in general, that you look for the rest of 2025?
I'm pretty sure everyone talks to you about AI. It's there, right? It's the elephant in the room. It's a question of adapt or die. There's multiple ways to look at it. Like me right now, I really look in terms of like what it means to SEO traffic. Like a lot of brands out there see significant reduction of traffic coming from the channels, and like the traffic that's coming from ChatGPT or cloud or name it, like doesn't compensate at all for the loss there. So for me, again, it's about like what it means. I don't think it's just going to accelerate. So it means like, again, it's reinforced the need to build a strong brand out there. That's for me, that's the better defense. We need, like any brand needs to lower its dependency on Google, either it's like for paid or even for organic traffic. That's one. Like I think wellness is going more and more mainstream. That's quite exciting. So it means that this category is growing, especially toward like the younger generation. So I keep an eye on this with the team that should like research like which segments of the population getting more and more interested. So like that's like from like growth like category perspective. And also at the same time, it's still a lot of uncertainty when it comes to the economy. Like so like you see the rise of the value conscious like consumer, even for like a product like us that has relatively average order value, relatively high. So I think it's important to always make sure that we offer the right value to the user. This is where like a marketplace like us, we need to like have like certain percentage of a package are discounted, like added value, like making sure pricing is transparent, like competitive and so on.
Very cool. Well, this has been a phenomenal episode. Really learned a lot about marketplaces. So Marc-André, I really, really appreciate you hopping on, and it was nice meeting you.
Thanks so much for your time. I enjoyed it.
The e-commerce toolbox Expert Perspectives is brought to you by Noibu. To find out more about Noibu and how we can help you debug your e-commerce site and rocket your revenue, visit www.noibu.com. That's noibu.com. And then make sure to search for the e-commerce toolbox Expert Perspectives on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found, and click subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. On behalf of the team here at Noibu, thanks for listening.